Real quick, the only ask I could ever have of you guys is to help spread the word so we can help more women lose body fat, build muscle, reach their goals, and feel insanely confident. And the only way we can do that is if you rate, review, and share this podcast. So the single thing I ask for you to do is if you could leave a review. It will take you 10 seconds, and it will mean the absolute world to me and may change the world of someone else. You are you, and these specific traits that I'm going to talk about are what make up you. And that's what's so freaking cool. What is going on, my people? Hey, you guys. Welcome to the Macro Hour with Nikkiey Stott, co-founder of WarriorBabe. And on this podcast, we talk about mindset, methodologies, and tactics that will help you lose body fat, build muscle, be strong, and feel insanely confident. I am your host, Nikkiey Stott, and welcome to episode number 68, where we're going to deep dive into traits that people cannot take away from you. The only people that can rob you of these traits are literally you. Okay, so we're going to dive into the mindset / self-confidence pillar today. And these traits, specifically 8 traits, are near and dear to my heart because these specific traits are things I have personally worked on for myself in the last 10 to 15 years of my life. And the more that you personally develop these traits for you, more, if they're all 8 or if they're 5 or if they're 3, or if you just want to take away one today and you work on that one for the next days, weeks, and months, these can be an absolute game changer to knowing yourself a little bit more, knowing who you are a little bit more without allowing external circumstances and external reactions and the people around you flood that perspective of who you are, okay? Because at the end of the day, you are you. You are you, and these specific traits that I'm going to talk about are what make up you. And that's what's so freaking cool. All right. So there's 8 specifically. Maybe, like I said, you have to work on all 8. Maybe you just take away one. Some of these are going to have stories attached to them that I can share and relate back to you. But let's just dive right into it. This is going to be a good pod, guys. This is going to be a good pod. So make sure you stay all the way till the end because there's 8 of these. And if you're driving, take a mental note of these. If you're somewhere where you can take notes of each of these things, the 8 of them, and then within the 8, write down whatever resonates with you the most. Okay? Okay. Number 1, your character. This is a trait that people cannot take from you, but you need to develop your character through time. And the only person that can take this trait from you is you, okay? Your character is shaped by your values, by your beliefs, and by your actions. Your character is a reflection of who you are as a person, okay? And it cannot be taken away from you unless you allow it. So and you're the only person that can allow this to slip. But what I mean by that is others may try to influence or challenge your character. And it's literally up to you to stay true to your values, to your beliefs, and then take action on those values and beliefs. So, for example, let's use honesty as your value. I think every human should have honesty as their value. But yet, if you're in a situation or a circumstance where you're not being honest with yourself or with the person that you're with or with whatever the situation calls for with honesty, then ultimately you are allowing your character to be robbed of you. Okay, does this make sense? So you are the only one this can be taken away from is your character. And so when you're in those external spaces and those external environments and situations, those things will challenge you in a way to act in alignment with your character. So you need to consistently, you should know what your values are. You should know what your beliefs are. And you should always consistently be acting in alignment with those values. And this is how you develop and build more of your character of who you are. Okay. And that is always in every situation where a value is to be challenged or influenced or X, Y, and Z, your value should be your North Star. So if your value is honesty as a person, then you should act upon that value via actions inside these external and reality situations. And that should be your North Star, right? So like if you hold the value of honesty, then when you're in these situations, that should be this top value of yours, or whatever values you have for yourself as an individual, should be the North Star in all the decisions that you make, in all of the situations that you're in all of the external reality, with your friends, with your family, with anybody that you come in contact with. That's how you stay true in alignment with your character. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, the second trait that people cannot take away from you, and this honestly may be one of my favorite ones, is your uniqueness. So every single one of you, me including, possess a unique combination of traits, of experiences, of perspectives that make me one of a kind, right? And your uniqueness, it's an inherent part, you guys, of who you are. And again, like I said, the beginning of this, it cannot be taken away from you by others unless you allow it to. So you cannot allow somebody to take an experience away from you. You cannot allow someone to take your perspective away from you. That is your uniqueness. Okay? This is why, like, sometimes, two stories here. Second story I'm going to share with you why my name is spelled the way it is, because it was an expression of my uniqueness in middle school. But the first thing that I want to share here is I personally have recently been shying away from asking or trying to understand what people's experiences are. Because this is the thing. They have their own experience and perspective around whatever that situation is that they endured themselves. And then for me, I don't want to base my experience and my perspective off of their situation that they were in when they did X thing, right? I want to base my situation and my perspective and my experience off of whatever I'm going to experience and whatever perspective I'm going to have on that X situation. So, example, because this is very recent and new in my experience, and I haven't shared this on the podcast yet, but I am in the process of freezing my eggs. It is very similar to the process of IVF. And so I really didn't want to seek others' perspectives and experiences of what they endured during IVF, or even people who have frozen their eggs, because they have their own uniqueness around that experience, right? They endured it in their own way, and it may not have been good, and it may have been amazing. I don't want that to shed light on my personal experience with it, because I could have a totally different experience than them, or I could adopt their experience, their story, their narrative, their perspective into my experience, and it could be a totally different experience. You see what I mean? So that's a little bit of a story. That's story number one. Story number two, this is how I expressed my uniqueness in middle school. So you guys all possess a unique combination of everything about you, right? And so when I was in middle school, I wanted to be different. I knew I was different. And I didn't want to be like the other, not that I didn't want to be like the other Nickies. There's nothing wrong with other Nickies. I wanted to spell my name different than the other Nickies. And I don't know, I somewhat blame my parents for this, because when my full name is spelled different than, my full name is Nicole, right? And it's not Nichole. It's Nicholle. Nichole. for what my intermediate family used to joke about when I was growing up. They used to call me that. And so I kind of blame my uniqueness of my parents and the naming convention of my name when I went to change Nikkiey. And what's so funny is it first started off just wanting to be able to write a Y in my name. And then it just developed into like, oh, I am different. I don't want to spell my name Nikki. I don't want to spell my name like the other ones, right? And so I started off in like 7th grade, it was Nikkie. And I was like, but I want the Y. So I added the Y. And then it just stuck. It literally has just stuck. It's not governmentally changed. But it literally has just stuck all the way up into now. I'm 33 years old and I still spell my name Nikkiey. And it's so funny because like the people that like, they're like, oh, how do you spell it? And I'm like, this is how I spell it. And they're like, wow, I've never seen that before. I was like, yeah, I did this in middle school and it just kind of stuck. But this is my expression of my uniqueness. I wanted my name to be spelled differently and like nobody else in the world. I don't know. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know anybody else that spells Nikki the way I spelled Nikki. And so that was just an expression of my uniqueness, right? And you each possess a uniqueness about yourself. So what is that? I challenge you to find that out for yourself and just go full mode in it, right? Like fully embrace it, because that's what makes you so unique. Number 3 is, hey, just want to drop a huge appreciation to you guys listening to the show. It means a lot. I hope you guys are enjoying it and there's so much more to come with it. If you are enjoying it, hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate that tons. And also, it would help this podcast reach others who need to hear these messages too. Thanks so much, guys. Let's get back to the show. Your personality. Your personality encompasses your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and patterns throughout your life and throughout relating to others. It is literally the fundamental aspect of your identity, and it does remain the same until you choose to change it. And what I mean by that is as we go through life, the way that your behavior and your mood and your patterns, they can be easily influenced by external factors, but only temporarily. And it's up to you to be able to choose the way that you maybe react or respond to those external factors, which then ultimately you are choosing the way that you change your behaviors, your patterns, your emotions, and your thoughts. Okay. And that's all part of your personality. I think this one is super important to understand, especially in the light that I just explained it, because I don't think many people think of like your personality in the way that I am explaining it, because this is a thing, like your personality, it does change. It changes through your life experiences, and it changes as you grow older and wiser and more mature and everything like that. So from this perspective, I want you guys to nurture and see the aspects of yourself within your personality. Somewhat are very, the traits are very stable over time that you may see, but you may be open to, recognizing that, throughout time, my thoughts, my emotions, my behaviors, and my patterns have changed due to the influence of the external factors around me. And maybe I tend to respond and react better than I have previously in specific external situations, right? And ultimately, it's not the external situations, it's the way you are handling yourself in that moment. So shedding light on your personality in this perspective, nurture and develop your personality in a way that benefits you to just continue to grow and continue to evolve and continue to expand yourself into new areas of learning more about your personality, right? With this, accept and love yourself for who you are, no matter what. Okay, but if there's areas of your personality that maybe, like I said, could be nurtured and worked upon and developed to become mature and wiser, this is a great perspective to shed that light on it in this way. So that was number 3. Number 4, and again, you guys, these are things that a lot of people may tend to turn externally, but there's no way that people can take these away from you. You're the only person that can take these things away from you, okay? So number 4 is your determination. Your determination, you guys, is solely on you. It is your inner drive and your inner resilience that keeps you motivated to achieve your goals. Your determination is solely your responsibility. It is not someone else's responsibility to have an inner drive that wants to be motivated to achieve your goals, okay? You're the one that ultimately has that determination. It stems from your mindset. It stems from your attitude. And nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can act upon your determination at your will, okay? So even if you guys are faced in challenges and setbacks and criticism, you have the power to maintain your determination by staying focused and staying true to what your goals are, staying true to adopting strategies that are in alignment with your goals, and to push through. Okay. Nobody, for, working out and fat loss and ultimately changing your body composition, building more muscle, nobody's going to have the type of determination to achieve those goals besides you, because they're ultimately your goals and you have the inner drive. You have the resilience to be able to go after that. And it's up to you to deal with these challenges that may come your way. I don't have enough time. My schedule got wacky this week, and you have to stay focused by persevering and pushing through to make sure that you are in alignment with your goals. Your determination is your personal attribute that fuels your success and your growth, and nobody can take that away from you. That is solely on you to persevere and push through. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5 is your skills. Man, I am so big on getting competent. Your skills are developed through learning, through practicing, and through experience. Okay? Anybody that is a doctor has gone through learning, practice, and experience to become a doctor. They have applied and put work into developing that skill set. Me, being in content, if you asked me this 15 years ago, I would have been laughing in your face had I be in front of a camera all of the time, all over social media. I would have not expected myself to be this way, but I had to learn because my goal required me to get here and to do these things. So I had to learn, I had to practice. Oh, baby, man, pulling my first YouTube live or first Facebook live would be absolutely hilarious. Pulling the first video that I ever made would be absolutely hilarious, but it was a part of developing the skill set that I now have. And then the experience through the last freaking 8 years of doing this, maybe even a little bit longer, I've developed the skill set. But once you develop this skill, once you acquire skill, whatever it may be, whatever your profession is, macros is a skill. You learn, practice, and experience macronutrients. Okay, I hate saying that macros is another diet. Macros is a skill set that will serve you for the rest of your life. You just have to learn how to work macros. You have to practice working macros, and you have to experience doing all of the things with macronutrients. But once you acquire that skill, it becomes a part of your normal existence. And when it does, just like working out is a skill set. Going to the gym, learning how to work out, practicing it every week, 5 days a week, months on end, years on end, and that being your experience, that is a skill set. And when you acquire these skill sets, it becomes a part of your normal existence, and nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take working out away from me. Nobody can take my experience with macros away from me. Nobody can take my experience with creating content away from me. I have mastered that craft. I have mastered macros, and I have mastered working out. I'm always learning and improving. My experience is always expanding, but nobody can take that away from me. Okay. And so I I would highly encourage you get confident. It boosts your confidence so freaking much when you have skill set after skill set after skill set, because those things can never be taken away from you. Okay, so it's number 5. Number 6 is your transparency. And so what I mean by that, and this is something that I firmly believe takes a while to work on. I think throughout the last 10 years of my life, I have become more and more and more and more transparent. What I mean by that is this refers to you being open, to you being honest, and to you being authentic with yourself and your interactions with other people. So when it goes back to what I said about your character, it's like if honesty is a part of one of your values in every situation that you're in, is that your guiding North Star when you're in those situations. Are you being honest with yourself and with those around you, and whatever circumstance you're in, right? Your transparency and then are you being open with the people that are around you and your interactions with other people, with those that you feel comfortable with, obviously. And then are you just being yourself? Again, this is why I said at the beginning when I said it, it's like this one could take a while to work on. And so if there's one that I would personally say in all 8 that I'm sharing with you today, this would be the one that I challenge you to just work on a little bit more. Work on being open with your goals, with your friends and your family. Hey, I am counting my macros because I really want to feel better in my skin. I hate the way that I look. I hate the way that I feel. I have no freaking energy. And so I'm going to adopt this new skill. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to practice it. I'm going to experience it so that I can feel better about myself. That is being open, that is being honest, and hell, that is being authentic with your true self. Okay, so when you cultivate a sense of this type of being true to yourself, you foster and build such amazing, meaningful relationships with those around you. But people are not mind readers. That's why you need to be transparent with all of the things, how you feel, being open, being honest, especially with your close circle and your loved ones. That's when I said, like, you don't have to be open and honest with everybody, because that's where it comes into like protecting your transparency by setting boundaries and not allowing the people that you don't want that in that world for you to choose your thoughts and choose to share those thoughts and those feelings with. You can create a boundary with them, but majority of the people that are close to you and in your close inner circle, family, friends, loved one, kids, your transparency is huge to them, because you need to be open, honest, and authentic about what you want and what you're trying to accomplish for yourself. And obviously I'm sharing in the light of fitness and workouts and nutrition because that's what this podcast is all about, but it could be in any area of your life. Okay, so that's number 6 is your transparency. Number 7 is your perspective. And I know that I touched on this a little bit with your uniqueness, how everybody's uniqueness, obviously, everybody has their own perspective and experience and unique traits about themselves, but your perspective is shaped by all of these experiences, all of your values, and all of your beliefs. And it influences how you perceive the world and interpret the events that are going on around you. And this is what I'm also too, which was a really good example that I used when I shared the experience of others and maybe people trying to influence your perspective, but ultimately it will always remain your perspective when you experience things on your own, when you hold your own beliefs about things, when you hold your own values about things, and how you perceive the world in those experiences and in those events. Others will try to influence based off of their narrative and their story, like I mentioned earlier, but ultimately it's up to you to have your own perspective on things. And that is dope, okay? Embrace the power of, having viewpoints, of having perspectives, of being open to, what people are talking about, but still having your own perspective on it and speaking that. That's huge. Okay, but what comes along with this, though, is by being open-minded and being able to navigate through situations while staying true to your core values. That's like the ultimate evolution perspective, in my opinion. It's like hold your own perspective, hold your own experiences, hold your own beliefs, and hold your own values, but always remain open-minded and be willing to navigate, hearing other people's perspectives, but making sure that you're still staying true to yourself, and what remains in your perspective is your own. Okay, so it's number 7. And then number 8 is your self-respect. And I think this one is huge, because self-respect is in the regard to your esteem that you have for yourself. And it is rooted in recognizing your worth, setting healthy boundaries, and honoring your values. And some people may try to disrespect you or undermine you. And it's so essential to, especially with what you're trying to do with your goals, right? Some people may try to undermine you and like, why are you doing that? Or why are you counting your macros? Or why are you going to the gym? Or, why are you spending so much time doing this? And it's so essential to prioritize and to protect your own self-respect in those situations, and being open and honest and transparent in why you're doing these things and why you want to accomplish these things, especially when it's your intermediate circle and your small circle. If it's people around you, this is where, and that aren't that close to you, and it's, friends that maybe you're one-off friends with for and you only conversate for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden people wishy-washy, and then you conversate again. Man, put a bubble around yourself with those people. Set those healthy boundaries. That is a form of self-respect. And then in any situation, when it comes to your goals or when it comes to things that you want to accomplish, you need to stand up for yourself. That is a huge self-respect activity. That is a huge self-respect, flexing your muscle and getting the reps in by you standing up for yourself, by you, saying no, this is why I'm doing this, or no, this is why I'm going to the gym today. I've shared with you guys in previous podcasts when I was first starting out my journey and my friends didn't understand what I was doing or why I was doing it. I had to stand up for myself. And then most importantly, I had to put a bubble around myself with those people and not allow them to break into that bubble or pop that bubble or say negative things that were kind of get to me. So in those situations, if you have those people around you, make sure that you stand up for yourself, you put a bubble around you, and then you kind of somewhat distance yourself from those people if they're not your immediate close circle. If they're your immediate close circle, work on the transparency one. But you want to make sure too that you surround yourself with supportive people, and you surround yourself with people that understand the journey that you are on. These are all activities that you can do, actions that you can do that are a form of self-respect for yourself. And I think that's just so important. I think all of these are so important when it comes to the traits that people cannot take away from you. People cannot take away your character. People cannot take away your uniqueness. People cannot take away your personality. People cannot take away your determination. People cannot take away your skills. People cannot take away your transparency. People cannot take away your perspective on life. And people cannot take away your self-respect. So that concludes all 8 traits that people cannot take away from you. The only person that can take it away from you is yourself if you are not acting in alignment with working on making these specific traits stronger and better for yourself. So like I said at the beginning of the podcast, maybe it's all 8 that you need to work on, but I highly would recommend that you don't get off this podcast and be like, I got to go work on all 8 of these things. I would honestly take 1 or 2 that you can start paying more attention to, bring self-awareness to in the next couple of days, couple of weeks, maybe even next month. And then you start to, you will feel when there's change happening to one of these specific traits for yourself in a positive light if you're working on it. And then you can start adding in the other ones, and you can start, figuring out which one you want to focus on next. But leaving today, definitely take away 1 and go work on it. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I hope that you learned something and it was valuable to you, and go work on one of these. That's all I ask. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, real quick. If you're interested in taking your body to the next level, lose body fat, build more muscle, feel more confident, do it alongside one of our 30+ professional coaches. Work one-on-one with her to eliminate all of the guesswork that you may have. And all you need to do is just do the work that she tells you to do to get to those goals of yours. Now, to learn more, click the link below this podcast and apply to our VIP program right now.